Hermana.
How are you?
I am.
I am that I am.
I am that I am.
Say it loud and proud. I am that I am.
I'm that I am. What's
How
going on, sis?
All good, man. I'm happy that we're
finally
actually doing this. Finally.
Finally.
Peace, everyone. Welcome.
Peace, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. But would you like to introduce yourself to those that are watching us that don't know who you are?
I was just giving people a minute to get in. Hi.
Sounds good. You look lovely.
You know how awkward I am with like introductions and stuff, so.
It's okay. We're all a little awkward, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
In our own way.
How was your evening?
Let me get my headset real quick so I can hear you a little bit better.
Right.
Okay.
It's been such a crazy day. I'm just trying to get myself together. Can you hear me better?
I'm sorry, what you say?
Can you hear me better?
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
The sound went out.
No? Okay, hold on.
Hey everybody, what's going on?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. This turned into like a
Okay, dope.
early 2000s Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So what's
Are
going
those
on?
commercials still even on? I don't know. I don't watch TV, so I have no idea.
Huh? Yeah, no, it's been, like I said, early 2000s. I have no idea. Like, I haven't had cable since 2008, so, you know.
Okay,
Hey,
so do you want to give people a couple more
in.
minutes to join us?
Yeah. How was your day, hermana?
My day was actually really good. I worked earlier. I had a couple of phone call meetings that were really good. You know, just trying to continue to be aligned and surrendering, man. You know, you can't fight it. So sometimes it's not giving up. It's just surrendering to your calling, to what it is that you're here to do. And you know, we question ourselves all the time on these things. We have these conversations all the time. But we tend to get so in our heads.
Actually, I think that's why I'm kind of like a little awkward. We literally just hopped off the phone and hopped on this live. So I'm like, yeah. So, but carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, it's like in our minds, we know we have to surrender, but our humanness tells us, wait. But are you really ready to surrender? Are you surrendering because you're giving up, or are you surrendering because you are actually trusting what it is that you're here to do and to serve? And these are questions that we ask ourselves all the time, because I surrendered a long time ago, but there's still parts of me that I am surrendering that no longer serve me. So it's acknowledging that they serve their purpose. But then releasing
it goes hand in hand with the retrieval, with the, you know, with the aspects and fragments of you that were once.
Precisely.
It's a part of the process.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that no one wants to trust anymore, right? Because they've lost their faith in humanity, but humanity is still very real. And it's active in a lot of people.
Right.
And we see it all the time. But people get pulled away from looking at humanity and what humanity is, which is essentially is love. because they let themselves get distracted with so many things that are irrelevant, that are pulling you away from your humanness, from your
Right.
humanity, from being
Right.
a person that comes from love
Right.
with loving intentions.
Right.
So, it's just part of life, no peaks and valleys. That's not, you're dead. If you don't have peaks and valleys in your life, you're
I
flatlined.
mean, that's the thing though, like love, right? I mean, such a basic concept one would think, but it's got so many layers to it, right? And obviously the innermost layer is self, right? And it ripples on out, right? And I guess the surrender aspect comes with each lesson of self-love that we encounter along the way, whether it's through an event, through a person, through a relationship, through whatever, right?
Right.
Even just through looking at yourself in the mirror, you know what I mean? And one thing you and I have a lot in common, well, I mean, we have tons of shit in common, but is the self. Like, we focus a lot on the self, and we mirror each other in so many different ways, that I felt like this conversation with you was so necessary. It's been a long time coming, but better late than never. So we were talking on the phone the other day, and you mentioned accountability.
Accountability.
And it seems to be everyone's favorite topic right now.
I wonder why, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, since we're all doing a collective like shadow work, of course that's gonna come up because, again, self, right?
And the thing is that most people, right, they think of accountability and just of themselves, which is necessary. Like, you need to hold yourself accountable to your boundaries, to your standards, to your way of being, to the way you treat people. But we tend to forget that we need to hold our peers, our significant others, our children, our parents, our siblings, to be held accountable for their actions.
Right.
Granted, you can't control people's actions because you're no one to control anyone, right? And that's something that we learn along the path of becoming self-aware, of dealing with other human beings.
Right.
But we tend to let these things go because, but I don't want them to think bad of me, or but like, maybe they'll learn things on their own. Yeah, they'll learn things on their own when they need to learn things, and when they're ready for those lessons, they're going to come to them. But if you truly care and love someone, and you come from a place of love, you need to hold people accountable, and you need to hold them to their word. Because if there's one thing I've noticed, is that people make promises all the time, but they don't keep their word.
Yes.
You can ask my children. I've never in their entire life have ever promised them anything. I don't make promises.
Right.
My word is my bond. And if I give them my word on something, I always pull through. And if I can't pull through, I do everything possible to let them know, so they can understand that it wasn't the right time.
Right.
It wasn't, like, things happen when they need to happen. That's why we speak about divine timing. Like, God, the universe, source, whatever you want to call that entity that lives in all of us, right? Is going to give us things when we need them, not when we want them, because there's a huge difference between wanting things and needing things. And we can want all these things that we think are wonderful, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you fall in love with a person. Oh my God, I can't see what's wrong with them.
Right.
There's 100 red flags. Like, remove your rose-colored glasses and see things for what they really are.
Right.
I'm a lover. I love everyone.
Oh my God.
I like everyone. I don't like everyone, and that's okay. You're not here to like everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay.
Shit. No, yeah.
But you're going to love me because I'm going to speak my truth.
Facts.
And I'm going to be authentic.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you shit how it is. You might not like it, and that's okay. I don't need you to like it. But when I have to deliver a message, it's going to be delivered. I'm going to ask you for consent because sometimes people are not ready to hear the messages. But if these nudges keep coming at me, I'm going to let you know what time it is.
Yeah.
So it's holding ourselves accountable and holding those around us accountable for their actions.
Yeah.
And knowing that not every action requires a reaction out of you. I talk about this all the time. People are going to try you. People are going to test you.
Oh,
people
they're
are
going
going
to
to do whatever they need to do to either get under your skin or try to prove a point to you or them or others.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to react to their actions.
Not at all.
It's taking a moment to breathe, to pause, be like, okay, this happened. Let me take a moment. Let me sit with it. Let me observe it. Let me observe how I'm reacting to it. Why am I allowing someone else's action to get a reaction out of me when that's not even what I was trying to do?
Right. You're going to hear me say a lot of right. Because, I mean, you and I,
these are things that we discuss all the time. Like we talk about this all the time. I think for years. And I think these are things that are necessary that other people need to hear, because I know a lot of people are not having these types of conversations.
Yeah.
I ride public transit in Miami-Dade County. It's the worst transit system in the entire United States of America. So let's start off with that.
Right.
But if you hear the conversations these people are having, they're the most shallow, not like the smallest small talk you can ever think of. Those are the things that they're talking about. And I'm not just talking about I'm just talking about people in general.
Right.
No one is sitting with their friend and telling them, yo, you need to work on your shadow. Like when the light hits you, do you not see that shadow right next to you? Like, have you sat with it? Have you faced yourself? Because you can only bullshit a bullshitter for so long.
I mean, yeah. And you know, it's kind of, once you get past the aspect of, oh, but I'm too scared to face my shadow, there's so much medicine in the dark. Like I stay in that space of, I work for the light in the dark. I've always made it clear. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, if you can't face yourself,
if you're not willing to sit with yourself, you should not be sitting with anyone else.
Nope. If you can't enjoy your company, can't expect other people to enjoy yours.
Because people are looking to fill this void, right? With people, with stuff, with drugs, with alcohol, with gambling, whatever. There's so many different aspects that we can go into.
Yeah.
Not realizing that quote unquote void that they feel can only be filled within themselves by facing their shadows, by saying, yo, you know what? I'm going through a rough patch. I'm going through some shit. I'm depressed. I'm suffering from anxiety. I need
so much
help.
Vulnerability. So
being vulnerable, being able to be open and vulnerable with themselves.
Right.
Because once you're able to do that with yourself, you can do it with anyone. Yo, I'm an open book. You want to sit down and talk to me? I will be more than happy and willing to talk to you. All right, but are you actually going to listen? Because most people, you sit down and it's like you're talking to them, but they're waiting to respond. They're not really processing what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Because they're caught up in their own story, right? And it's like everyone has a story and everyone is entitled to tell their story. Yeah. But if you want people to actually have a deeper understanding into who you are, you need to sit down and listen. Somebody wrote, ma'am, I believe simplicity is the most powerful thing, even in spirituality. It's a simple mind that is tranquil that's the greatest magnet to attract everything we need. Agreed. Life is very simple. Life is extremely simple, but we tend to complicate it with our complex human mind.
Yeah.
Because we always want more.
Yeah.
Not understanding
and that's the whole like focus on, oh, manifest this, and I gotta manifest this, and moon cycle and this, and manifestate. I mean, look, once upon a time when I was big bleach, right? Once upon a time, you know, and not to say that I don't use certain cycles for, you know what I mean, but manifestation to me now, it takes on a whole different meaning. It's being in alignment with my own energetic signature, my own codes, my own vibrational frequency, and being in alignment with
Hold
that.
on, it's 11:11.
Hey, talk about alignment. You see, like being in alignment with everything inside and outside of you, the all, right? And you know, that way you attract that which is yours, not which is temporary, or not which is at the cost of XYZ or whatever, right? Because energetic work, it comes with consequences. As a lot
Energy
of people
is
don't
constantly
really want
moving.
to
It's
go there,
a constant thing.
Yeah. So
Breathe into it, boo.
listen, lean into it, breathe into it, you know, all of it. Like, it's
Exactly.
definitely a moment to moment process, you know. And like you said, the whole aspect of vulnerability and being vulnerable with self and being vulnerable with those around you that you feel safe enough to be open and vulnerable with, that is so necessary right now, because mental health is like, our nervous systems are like, everything is just, you know what I mean? So
I
it's
mean,
like
all these different things, these, not only the external energies, right? Because we're having like these massive amounts of solar flares that are coming into the earth. Yo, that's affecting us.
solar flares.
If you feel separate from that and you don't feel like any of that is affecting you, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to sit down and learn a little something today. You know, like, look into it.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, I'm like, yo, you don't have to believe anything I say.
Yeah.
You don't, but research it. There's nothing wrong with looking up information. Deprogram to reprogram. Like, we've been systematically and generationally conditioned and programmed to believe all these things. And the more things that come to light, the more you're like, yo, I've been lied to my entire fucking life. Like, what?
Yeah.
How did this happen? It happened on purpose.
Yeah.
It happened to keep you from your power, from becoming the limitless being that you were born to be.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You're not here to do one thing. You're here to do everything.
Yep.
Whatever you want to do, you can do it. But what you have to do, you have to hold yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to open up and be vulnerable and be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to say, yo, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
And
you know
it's
how many
okay
times
to
I've
feel
sat
like
with the
that.
universe and I'm like, hi, it's me again. I have no clue what I'm doing.
And
Utilize
sometimes
me as
just
your
saying that
vessel
out loud.
to do what I need to do on this plane of existence.
Yeah.
I am divinely guided and protected in this and every realm, in every dimension, and in every space.
That part.
So what do I have to fear? I have nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Fear just keeps your vibration low, and ain't nobody got time for that.
No.
Like,
you know,
we're here
so
to help each other raise each other, right? Like, we're here to help each other elevate. Why is it that people want to gatekeep all these things? Because they want to make themselves feel superior to others. Like, yo, at the end of the day, when you cut yourself, when I cut myself, we're bleeding the same blood.
The same shit.
Nothing makes you better, just like nothing makes me better. We're all in this together, and together is how we rise. And how do we do that? By being open with each other. By being real.
Yeah.
By asking for help when help is needed. You'd be surprised how many people come to your aid when you ask for help. Yep, find peace and surrender, precisely.
Yep. And that's the thing, like, when you were saying, like, sometimes you just want to, like, say, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Sometimes just even saying those words, just even surrendering to that, the next moment that clarity hits you and you're like, oh shit. Because sometimes it's just the universe wanting to hear you say.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
it's like, you saying, you know what? I'm giving myself the grace.
Yeah, the grace.
The space. Because we forget to be graceful. Like, we try to be graceful to everyone else, but we're like, we treat ourselves
super hard on ourselves.
Like, we're so self-critical.
Gosh,
we get in our own way. We are the only ones that are in our way.
Yeah.
Like, move, bitch. Like, you're in my way. You're keeping me from me. Yeah. And no one's going to keep me from that. Mm-hmm. The only one that can keep me from that is me.
Yeah. Point blank. Yeah, no. And, going back with the whole vulnerability and that whole saying people can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. And it's like, that aspect is key, because if you're not, if you're just putting on a projection type of thing, right, you're only gonna tap into so much of the essence of me before it becomes a projection,
right,
of your reality, not mine. Right.
And that's the thing, that most people are so stuck in their reality, which we're creators.
Right.
We were made in the image of the creator. What the fuck do you think that makes you? Yeah. A creator. You are here to create. You're here to experience life, right, to experiment. Granted, sometimes we take it a little too far and we're experimenting with all types of shit. And then we're like, how did I get here? Bro, your biggest power is a power of choice. And we give it up so easily. Most people live in their victimhood, in their victim mentality. I know, I live there. I thrive off of being a victim. I loved victimizing myself.
Yeah.
Until I was,
and that's the thing, when we speak, you and I especially, we're not like speaking from like a hypothetical or like something we read out of a book. It's real life experiences. Like, I speak from my experiences. I can't speak on anything that I haven't experienced, just me as a person. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, it's not rehearsed, it's from the heart. You can tell in the language,
it's a lived experience.
Yeah.
That's why when people come to me and they're like, oh no, because you wouldn't understand, try me.
You'd be surprised.
Sit down and try me, and I will be glad to. Yeah. Like I said, I'm an open book. I would be glad to sit here and read to you my entire story, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, you can relate to me more than I was expecting you to. Exactly, because you were having expectations. Stop having expectations. Right. Stop placing expectations on other people. The only person you can expect anything out of is yourself. Self. And when you feel like
mantra.
If you feel like you can't deal with other people, take a step back. Go into solitude. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being in solitude. You and I, we thrive off of being alone.
Listen,
like,
to the point that sometimes solitude. It kind of gets questionable, where I'm like, is this even healthy, bruh? Is this even healthy?
Like, I really gotta leave the house. People can't sit with themselves. Right. Most people can't sit with themselves because they've never really taken the time to get to know who they are.
Right.
Like, who are you without your name, without your nationality, without your career, without your possessions, without your friends? Who are you?
Even take it further, skin tone, race.
Exactly. It's like this is a flesh suit, right? Like you came into this, you're an energetic being. You came into this flesh suit because you had to take it on. Like, you had to materialize yourself.
Right.
Who are you without it?
Right.
Can you sit with yourself and be like, I like you? Because the day I met my real self, my energetic being, I was like,
You fell in
Everything makes
love.
sense now. Like it all hit me like
Yep.
a freight train. I was like,
Yep.
so many things made sense. Like all the compartments in my head that had been like cracked open, trying to like get answers out of. I was like, everything kind of like came together.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
when people don't take the time to be alone, to really find out who they are, not who society made them to be, not who their parents wanted them to be, not who their parents built them to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because most parents make the mistake of creating little them.
Right.
Oh, well, I wasn't able to play sports, so I'm going to make sure my kid plays every sport. Did you sit down to ask your kid what they want to do?
Right.
Because they all have their own souls and their own purpose, and they came here to, you are just the vessel to provide love, guide them, care for them, provide them with their necessities. But they're not.
And that's the thing, taking the time out to figure out what lights you up inside. Because once you figure out what lights you up inside, you understand how other people operate, including your children. What lights you up? You know what I'm saying? Like, honoring your spirit, honoring your soul, like honoring your codes.
But that's the thing, most people don't even have a code because they've never actually implemented their boundaries because they don't know who they are.
Oh, boundaries. You're getting into my favorite territory, girl. Okay, go ahead. Right.
Yeah, boundaries. Listen, I am a recovering.
Boundaries is God, bro.
I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Over lover, over giver, over achiever.
My name is Sin, and I am a recovering people pleaser, over giver, over lover, over everything. I am an extremely, as you guys can see, I am an extremely passionate person. And when I give it all, right? So we forget that when we love people, right? We forget about these very important things.
I just had to tell you I love you.
It's okay. I love you too. We forget about these really important factors like boundaries, like respect. I'm sorry, you can love me all you want, but if you do not respect me, you do not love me.
You're not in alignment with me because respect is like high up there.
Exactly. And what comes with respect? Boundaries. Are you willing to accept me for who I am and not want to change who I am and love me truly for the most authentic expression of who I am?
Steps. Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to create this idea, right, and romanticize this idea
projection,
of who you think I am or who you think I should be according to what you made up in your head, the story you told yourself? I'm sorry, that's not
I'm
reality.
always going to disappoint you. You're always going to get disappointed.
You're always going to get disappointed because you created a version of that person in your head that had nothing to do with your reality.
Right.
It wasn't who they were. Like I said, I'm not here to sell pipe dreams. I don't sell pipe dreams. I don't sell rainbows and butterflies. Granted, I raise butterflies, but I do not sell them. I speak my truth. And if you like it, amazing. We can vibe. We can be great. We can be friends. I will be your friend till the end because I'm a real one all the way.
All the way.
I have people's secrets that I will take to the grave with me or be cremated with me, you know, whichever way it goes. But when I give my word is my bond. And that's where
you're making my saber light up. I'm like, yes, preach, go ahead. Like, I'm like vibrating. Go ahead.
That's where boundaries, that's why it's so important to set these boundaries from the very beginning with your friends, with your family. Just because someone is your mom or someone is your dad doesn't give them the right to overstep the things that you put as your guard, right? Because everybody has a guard. So you have to protect yourself. Some people put up walls. Some people put little fences. Some people put on a whole ass armor. I mean, I wear my armor all the time, but I'm trying to like not wear it so much.
That shit gets tiring and heavy at some point.
It gets heavy.
Shining that shit up every day. It's
know, and yeah,
hassle.
I may have a hard exterior. Like, yes, I'm a badass, but I'm soft and mushy on the inside. Like, I like to cuddle. I want to be touched. I am very soft, and I want to be felt softly. You know, I want to express myself softly.
Yes.
I want people to understand my softness, but also understand that I have my boundaries. And the moment you step over them is the moment
the dragon.
That armor's gonna come back and it's full ninja mode. Like, are you ready for this?
Yeah. I told you this live is gonna be mostly me being like, yeah. Because I mean, you know, resonance, baby. You can't make that shit up.
I mean, it's real life, hermana. At the end of the day, this is real life. This is reality. This is, granted, you guys are seeing us through technology, but we're very real people. Like, this is not, I am not playing a persona. I am not doing this for the gram. Yeah. I am as real as they come. What you see is what you get. And when you meet me in the street, you're going to meet the same person, and I'm still going to be as real as you see me here. Why? Because I live a very authentic life. I have nothing to hide. Nothing. And when you have nothing to hide, you show up as yourself.
Isn't it
without
ironic?
The need for your name, without the need for your occupation, without the need for material possessions, without anything. You show up as you because you yourself, your energy, your energetic being is your essence, and you show up as that.
But isn't it ironic, sis, that most of the people that show up as their authentic selves are usually the same ones that people regard as mysterious? The irony, right? So it's like when you say I'm an open book, it's like, yeah, you just got to ask the right questions, I guess. I don't know. But
it's like
so mysterious.
I might seem mysterious, but it's because I dabble with the unknown, because I sit with my shadow. Yeah.
A lot.
My shadow's right here. They're saying, yo, what they do?
Gang, gang.
you know what I mean? Like, it's not, and it's not even being egotistical, right? And it's just, and this is another thing I wanted to discuss. People confuse you being confident with your spirit and your being, and they confuse it with you being in your ego. And there's such a big difference.
In your what? I didn't catch the last part.
That people confuse you being self-confident, they confuse it as you being like egotistical, right?
I mean, hermana, like, yeah, I'm self-centered. Like, I'm centered in self. Where do you want me to be centered in? Like, in your...
Because since they can't center it within themselves because they haven't found themselves.
Right.
You know? And it's like, I have this talk with some of the people that I mentor. I tell them all the time, I'm like, yo, just because you're taking care of yourself, it doesn't make you selfish.
Not at all.
Self-preservation, preservation of self. If you don't take care of you, no one is going to take care of you. And just like you're not here to save anyone. I tell people all the time, I'm like, you are not Captain Save a Hole. Yeah. Like, you can't save anyone.
Put that cape away.
Like, you're not here to save everyone. You can help people, you can guide them, but you can't save them. I'm not here to heal anyone. I'm here to help people. I'm here to bring you back to yourself, to remind you of your power, so you can own it and own it. That's it. Yeah. People forget that. That's why I don't really fuck around with a lot of people in the spiritual community, because I don't want them, and they're so full of shit.
Yeah. Like, nobody's trying to be a guru here. Like, if anything, it's like, maybe I'm here to activate the inner guru within you. I don't know, but self, the guru of self, activating that within. Again, looking for it within yourself, because everything you'll get bamboozled out in these streets.
Girl, it's crazy out in these streets.
Shit is real. And there's
Shit is
so many
very
layers
real.
to it.
Shit is very real. And there's temptation and there's weird shit going on. Like mad weird shit going on, and like energetic attacks and psychic attacks and
Frequency manipulation and all of that.
and people have to learn to protect themselves.
Yes, yes.
To be guided, learn to be guided by your own inner voice. Listen to your
Inner authority.
intuition. Listen to it. Like, it's always there. We just minimize it or diminish it because we don't believe in ourselves, right? Because it's hard for us to understand that we can actually have all this power. Yeah, at first it's scary. Because when I first started learning about my powers and how powerful a person can truly be, I was like, this is too much.
It's, yeah.
Bitch.
You're literally feeling like you're about to burst out of your skin. So,
exactly.
And trying to hone it down and ground it.
So that's why it's so important to ground, to do your rituals. And by rituals, I don't mean you have to do a full moon thing or a new moon thing. You do what you feel called to do. Yeah. Just because it's a super moon in whatever, I'm going to say Aquarius, and it's going to be in this position. Yo, if your body's not feeling it, listen to it. You don't have to participate in the collective rituals, because this whole, let's talk about Lionsgate.
Oh, Lord, should we?
What is truly Lionsgate? Has anyone actually sat down to really research it? We have.
Yeah.
It is a ritual, but it's not the type of ritual people think about. Everyone wants to participate in this thing because it's cool, because it's everywhere. Oh, the Lionsgate, this, you have to take advantage of this energy. The energy is always around. It's up to you to hone it when it's right for you. And how do you know when it's right for you? Because you'll get that inner calling. You will feel it in your bones. You will dream. It will come to you in dreams. It will come to you in daydreams.
And those are the most potent rituals.
As you're sitting in meditation, it'll come to you. Maybe even when you're in the toilet taking a shit.
And those are the most potent rituals, Irmana. Yeah.
Huh?
Those are the most potent rituals. The ones that are channeled through you. Those are the ones. Those are the keys. Those are the codes.
Those are the codes.
Not what other people are telling you.
Sit outside and get some sunlight. Get some light codes. And trust me, if you, we do this all the time. But if you sit down out in the sunlight for 20 minutes and you gaze at the sun when it's rising, I can guarantee you will start activating your DNA and you're going to start seeing some shit. And things will come to you, but you need to be patient with yourself.
Yeah. It's not a race. This is not a game. It's not a gimmick. This isn't like a performance, a show. Like, this is real shit. And especially moving forward into the next few years.
And it's only going to get more real.
If it ain't you and God, if you're not aligned with that source, straight source connection, no middleman, it's going to be kind of difficult.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it's going to be kind of difficult for the people that haven't actually sat down to be with themselves, to build a connection with source. Praying is speaking to God, to source.
Meditating is
listening, is you processing what God is communicating with you. Why is it so hard for people to sit down and meditate?
Monkey mind, Hanuman.
And that's the thing. Most people think that meditation is you have to quiet your mind. It is not. It's not about quieting your mind.
Yeah. The mind has literally has nothing to do with this process. Well, let me not say nothing. That's a little too far. But it serves its purpose, obviously. But right here,
it's coming from that heart space, opening it up, removing these blocks and these harsh situations that have happened for you, not happened to you.
Mm-hmm. And the whole
when you
time
say
you
these things
thought you
happen
were
to me, that's you putting yourself in victim mentality. They happened for you. They taught you a lesson. Did you learn? Did you choose to learn from it, or are you looking at it as something, as a source of, I want to suffer?
Yeah, no, victim mentality, victimhood, that whole thing, that template is so dead. It's so past that time. Like, what? No, it's not even a thing. You're literally dealing with an outdated template. And you know, sis, I was thinking about this like the other day. I'm like, you know, because I'm sure you would identify as someone who grew up as a rebel, as I would too, you know, and I was like, yo, whole time you thought, and everybody else convinced you that you were like a rebel without a cause, or a rebel like you're rebelling something outside of yourself. Whole time you were rebelling all these programs that were trying to be put onto you, or rebelling against all the shit that wasn't supposed to be even in your fucking operating system to begin with.
And that's why we rebel, right? We rebel against a system that was created to make us fail,
right?
So are we really rebels? No, we haven't been rebels. We've been true to our essence. We just didn't allow all these programs to take control of us. Why? Because we are interconnected with what is right, with what's set well with our souls.
Yep.
Yo, I've been questioning reality since I was 2 years old. My mother would tell you, she used to get on my nerves.
Why?
Why? But why? But why is why? What is the definition of why? Who the fuck is this kid?
Right.
You know? And that's the thing, that we, because of our own programming, we shut down our own children because we don't want to be bothered, because we're going through some shit. Because as we're raising children, we're pretty much going through our own growth, right? And real life is hard. So what happens is, all these things, like our imagination, which is very vivid, and that's why we have dreams, and that's why, and you know, like, you'll come up with these theories and all these things. The artwork I create, that's this body is creating it, but that's shit I see in my mind's eye when I'm in meditation. How can I explain and describe the artwork I create? How do I explain that? Those portals, how the fuck do I explain that? You can't. So what do we do to children? What did our parents unconsciously do to us? Because we can't blame them for their own conditioning and their own programming. They were following the same programs.
Right.
So yes, we are the rebels because we decided to say no. Why are we going to continue on this path that has led us nowhere? That has made us slaves to the economic system, to these rules and regulations that have nothing to do with the 12 laws of the actual universe. They have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and it keeps you stuck in these loops.
When did we forget our connection to nature? When did we pull away from it? What made you pull yourself away from it? Because yes, granted, technology is great. If it wasn't for technology, you and I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with all these great people that have joined us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes, technology serves its purpose as long as you use it with a good intention.
Yeah.
But don't forget to sit outside, to smell the rain, bask in its glory. Granted, now the rain is getting a little weird because of all the shit they're spraying in the air. But
that's
sit
just
outside,
crazy.
sit on the grass.
That's just crazy. Yeah.
Hug a tree.
Yeah.
Ground yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Walk barefoot. Not with these plastic soles on our shoes that have kept us from getting that energy we so desperately need from the earth. There is no separation.
Yeah. That's like one of my, I was just like visualizing myself the way I like lay out on the grass. It's like, I surrender. Like I fully just submit and give myself to like, you know, and that's how it's supposed to be. Just surrendering to the elements within, without.
As above, so below.
Above, so below.
As within,
without.
you know, but we've allowed our situations, we've allowed society, we've allowed our circumstances to pull us away from the real truth.
Yeah.
But that's why there's people like you and there's people like me that are here to remind other people that have been stuck in their programming that, yo, it's okay.
Sorry, something happened. It glitched out.
It's okay. You know, like it's okay to break free from your programming. It's okay for you to break free from this conditioning. It's okay for you to say, you know what, this shit ends with me. These generational curses, these cycles, these loops, you don't have to repeat them. Yeah. And it's never too late. Like, if you feel like you fucked up your children, apologize. Sit with them. Be truthful to them.
An apology can go such a long way.
So, but like it's about talking. It's about communicating. Like, yes, you can communicate, but is the other person understanding what you're saying? Because there's a huge difference between communication and comprehension. Like, are you understanding what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. Listen, you already know. You already know how I feel about that. So it's like, it's not just hearing the words coming out of my mouth. Like, are you feeling something when I'm speaking? Like, do you feel it? Or is there resonance? Because it's a frequency. And our children, like, I don't feel like we need to deal with our children any different than the way we deal with ourselves or with another adult. Like, I hold my children to the same standards. I really do. You know, and
I know you do.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a part of my curriculum, you know? So, I don't know. Like, I really, like, let's just take a minute for a second. And let's just take a minute for the children, man. Like, like the last 2 years,
it's been heavy on their souls. It's been so heavy for them, and they've had to experience so many things and so many different scare tactics and putting so much fear into them. Like, children don't need that. Children need to be able to play and to enjoy their friends' company and to get dirty and be outside and experience life and be one with nature. Like, have you ever sat and seen a child, I know your children do this, actually sit in nature and just be? It is the most beautiful thing you'll ever experience, is actually seeing children just be
in their true element.
Which is also our true element, because they're just little extensions of us, you know?
Yeah.
People don't take the time to breathe, hermana. They do not take the time because they feel like breathing is just like a natural, it's like a natural occurrence, right? Like, it is a natural occurrence, but have you actually taken the time to be mindful of your breath? Are you grateful for every breath you are able to take?
Mm-hmm.
People are not mindful of these things. They forget that their breath is their connection to source. Because without breath,
the deeper it is, the deeper the connection.
They cut it. Yeah. And it's okay. We've cut it before. Like I said, I'm an open book. For a long time, I disconnected myself because it was too much, because I didn't understand, because I didn't have the level of understanding that I have now. So for me, it was too much.
It's overwhelming.
That's why I did drugs. That's why I would numb myself.
Yeah.
because I couldn't deal with these things,
Yeah.
right? Because it was just way too much. Like it's when you're a feeler, you feel everything. Shit that's
Everything.
yours, shit that's not yours. But what do we forget? That the feelers are the healers.
Yeah.
And how do we heal? By healing ourselves.
And being the example.
And being that reflection for other people that they too can heal themselves if they believe in themselves.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we live in a very like toxic and narcissistic society, and you know it goes hand in hand with everything that's being played out right now, right? So that maintenance of energetic hygiene, maintenance of our sanity, maintenance of self, all that shit. And this isn't like, oh, you know, like, it's not a hashtag thing. It's a necessity. It's not something we talk about. It's like,
It's
keep like saying like the next few years are prophecy. You know what I mean? It's imperative.
It's of so much importance. There's so much behind everything, right? And we can't see it because since we're tangible people, like if we can't see it in front of us, we don't believe in it.
That kind of shit irks my nerves, by the way. As a Pisces moon and a like Scorpio stellium, that shit be like irking my nerves. It's like, what do you mean? You can only believe shit that you see with your human eyes?
Because they've forgotten this.
Like
they've forgotten that, you know, like their thoughts create things. And then when they start to realize that as they're visualizing and they're creating these things are actually materializing in real time, they're like, oh shit, wait. I dismiss so many people because they used to tell me, like, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Things are very much in existence. Yeah. And our word is so important. How we speak of ourselves, how we speak about others, the things that we say. Are we saying it from a loving place? Or are we coming from a place of anger and hate and resentment? Because it's okay, these are human emotions. We have to go through it. We're very much in a human. As much as people want to say, oh, I've ascended to 5D, bruh, you're still in a very 3D world reality. Like, let's be real. We're still human beings.
And let's not get capped at the 5D mark. That shit irks me too. But anyway, carry on.
You know, it's like you're still very much in a 3D world. Like, you still have to live this human life. You're still going to have people battle with you and test you and put you through the ringer. But are you going to allow people's actions to cause a reaction out of you? You know, we come back to that same thing. Like, let it go. All this anger and all this hate and all this envy and all this jealousy, it's serving no one a purpose. It's not serving you a purpose. It's doing you a disservice because it's keeping you in a loop of repeating the same cycles over and over. So why can't you get out of it? Because your mindset is still stuck in there. And
it may not even like, Hermana, like that's one thing as well, like that I kind of say, it's like sometimes it's like, well, you need to get to the root of it. It's like, well, I meditated on it and I can't find the root of it. I'm like, well, maybe it's some past life work, because not everything that we're experiencing, not all the triggers and the traumas and all the shit that we, you know, it may not be from this incarnation.
Right. And that's what people don't understand, is that there's so many things that we carry with us throughout many lifetimes. You know, that stays with you. It stays in your soul records. It stays with you because it's there for a reason. So when you start to notice certain patterns of behavior in your life, And you're like, wait, when did this
Right.
start? What triggered this to start? And then you can't find a reason as to why these patterns of behaviors are coming up. My G, you're carrying that from a past life. A lot of people don't believe in reincarnation. We know very well that reincarnation is a real thing, right?
I've met so many different versions of myself. Like, you can't tell me differently.
I mean, we
You
know
can't
each
convince
other
me
from
otherwise.
past lives, from how many lives, sis? And
Yep.
we have yet to meet in person.
Yeah.
Because that's the truth. We have
Yeah.
yet to meet in real life, right?
Yeah.
Like in this specific time and space.
Yeah.
But it was soul recognition from day one.
From day one. And it's
From
been
day
years.
one.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. When you recognize someone that this is the first time you're ever meeting them, you recognize them is because your soul recognizes each other, because you've known each other from past lives.
Yeah.
You see it in people's eyes. For some reason, people are scared to look me in the eye when they talk to me. And I understand why.
Yeah, and that's why I wear shades a lot of the time, because it's like, you know, so that's another reason why it's so awkward doing these lives, but I'm enjoying it, because it's like it's me, you know what I'm saying? It's serving me.
It's you
well.
putting yourself in a vulnerable state to show yourself
Yeah, I'm willing
and
and
others
able
that you are here.
Yeah.
That you're here to help them and guide.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I usually go live when I'm releasing butterflies. I know I have no caterpillars right now. I have none. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll have some again. But it's been too hot.
My heart
every time. The iguanas have been coming into my balcony, and they ate like 4 of my caterpillars. But I usually go live to release the butterflies. I never go live to do this.
Yeah.
But I know that we are being called, we are in this specific space right now, and we're being called to do this because people need to hear what we have to say. We might, like a lot of people might say, oh, but I'm not important. Every one of you is important. Everyone is important. You're all serving.
And you got to be the MVP of your life, of your own life, of your own existence.
You are the producer, the director, the main character, the cameraman, the script writer. You are it. What are you waiting for to actually create your life? Because if you're waiting for Jesus Christ to come down from heaven, descend from heaven and save you.
Nah, man, because then you're going to get into all these arguments and like, like black Jesus, white Jesus.
That's not it. It's called
program.
Christ consciousness, right? Like we all carry it within.
It's a consciousness. It's a frequency.
It's a consciousness. It's got nothing to do with the entity, because Jesus was Buddha, was a tomb.
It's an archetype. It's an archetype.
It's an archetype.
Energy. It's a frequency.
Exactly. And people forget because they want to mix religion into this whole thing, and religion has nothing to do with the truth. Because it's been switched around so many times that's why people don't believe in it.
In my opinion, it's more like it gets you more attached with the flesh suit, with the human suit, and less connected with.
And that's another thing I wanted to discuss is like all of these attachments, right? Yeah. Like we get so attached to people, to our jobs, to our quote unquote careers, to our boyfriend, our girlfriend, our significant other, our parents, our siblings. We get attached to anything because we want to feel like there's a hold, right? But do you not understand that love is not attachments?
It's connections.
It's connections, exactly. So what do attachments do? Attachments hold you down. What do connections do? Connections lift you up. Yeah. Connections help you rise. Yeah. They don't hold you down. There's no anchors. Attachments are anchors. Yeah. Like, yes, you still need to anchor yourself because you need to ground yourself and understand that you live in a duality world, right? You live in a world where there's good and there's bad. And there's
the anchor is your connection to source. That is the anchor.
That's your anchor, and that's what you need to be anchored to. Your connection to source is what's going to help you lift and rise.
Yeah.
Not your attachments to worldly shit. Because that's just your flesh suit being attached to these things. That's your emotions, right? But what's emotions? Energy, emotions. So are you going to allow it to flow through you? Or are you going to allow it to get stagnant and then you end up with many different diseases or pain in your muscles? Or, oh shit, I have a problem in my stomach. I wonder why. Do you have any resentment? Are you holding on to some shit that you should have let go a long time ago, but you're still holding on to it because you just want to be bitter about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
These things take control of us because we allow it. Because once you acknowledge it and you release it, you feel the heaviness come off of you.
Yeah.
And you're light. And it's felt in your stride. You know when someone has a light soul because you can't even hear them walk by you.
Yep.
They have no attachments. They're fully connected.
Yep.
When someone is you can hear them stomping. That's because they're carrying a very heavy heaviness.
Yeah.
And it's felt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people need to understand these differences between attachments and connections. You want to have connections. You don't want to have attachments.
Yeah.
Attachments.
Well, that's the thing, though, hermana, because it's like we talk about, like, you know, free will, which is indeed a real thing, right? But like free will is really free will isn't free. It isn't truly free if it isn't in alignment with the will of God. Because when it's not, then you're putting yourself in situations, places, people, and things where you're incurring more anchors and more attachments and more density that you have to work through, right? Versus doing what feels right for you, as in feel right, like whole through and through, not from an ego space, not from a, you know what I'm trying to say here, right?
Yeah.
And it's like really being anchored in that source connection. Then again, going back to the whole, like we were talking about, like the whole manifestation, et cetera, like you don't have to work extra time. Like we need to, like, really, especially with everything going on, conserve our energy and work smarter, not harder. Like, how can you work smarter in this area or that area? Like, because we need to get off these hamster wheels. We need to get off of these. We really need, and I stress on this because it's like I understand that collective consciousness dictates reality. So it's like,
it's a group effort. It's a group effort. Like, this rat race bullshit, it has to stop.
Nah,
this isn't a race.
This shit is for the birds, bro.
Like Daoud wrote something yesterday, and I reposted it because I felt it.
Yeah.
The age of competition is dead.
When was it even? I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm talking to you because, you know, like, when was it even alive in our books to begin with? Like,
the age of competition is dead. The age of what was it? You wrote the age of camaraderie or something to that effect.
Martyrdom.
Yeah, it's where it's at, and it's true. Like, at what point are people going to realize that you don't need to be in constant battle and competition with each other? Like, cooperation. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
like,
cooperation. Okay.
You gotta let it go. Like, learn to work together. At the end of the day, everyone just wants to be at peace, wants to feel loved, wants to do things that, like, they don't feel like there's this constant need for, like, even on Instagram, if you're not posting reels, you're not relevant. I'm sorry, I'm not here to go with the algorithm. I'm here to post what I need to post.
Sin's like, I'm too real for a reel. Fuck that.
Like, I'm gonna post whatever the fuck I want because I know what I know what I have to do. I know what I'm here to serve on this platform, right? This is what we're here to serve on this platform. Right. Exactly. We all want to be free. That's the thing. Yeah. We are free. We are free beings. Yeah. We just let all of these outside distractions and
Try to
distortions
convince
get
us
the best of
otherwise.
us.
Right.
Because I live a very free life.
Yeah.
I own nothing and nothing owns me.
Sovereignty.
Precisely.
It's a state of mind. It's a state of being.
It's not your being, it's your state of mind. Again, mind over matter. Are you gonna choose to be in the mindset of the hamster wheel? Or are you gonna be in the mindset of freedom, time? I don't want to be rich and famous. I want to be impactful.
Yeah.
And I want to be here to serve as a mirror for other people, that the possibilities are endless.
I mean, we've been saying this for years, like being felt more than being seen.
Exactly.
You know? Like, I'm only,
And when you see
only
me, you're
see
going to
when
feel me. You're
I
not going
want
to be able to
seen.
help but feel me.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just, you know, I know that things are changing. I know because I see it. I see people tired. I see it in their faces. I see it in their energy. They're tired. They're tired of living the same thing
Bullshit.
every
Yep.
day, over and over and over. Listen, a lot of people thought that, you know, the pandemic was a horrible thing. And yeah, a lot of people died.
I mean,
and
yeah.
this shit happened, but all these things served a purpose.
It
They
did.
took people away from the things that were distracting them so they can actually sit with themselves and figure out who they were.
Yeah.
The people that kind of lost their way were the people that always put their time and their effort into external shit. Because honestly, I rode the wave. I got on my surfboard and I was cruising through the whole thing. Because I am spiritually sound and solid. Because I am solid with myself. Because I didn't allow all these external bullshit and distractions get the best of me. Why? Because I sat with myself. I sat in solitude. Sit with yourselves. Take a 3-day break from social media. I'm not even asking you to take a 21-day break. Take a 3-day break from social media. Take a 3-day fast, a water fast, while you're on this social media break. While you're at it, do a silent retreat for 3 days.
Yeah.
And tell me in 4 days how you're feeling.
Listen, that social media break thing is so necessary. Like, and that's the thing though, Hermana, like once you get used to not being on social media and get back on, it's almost like, ooh, I can't wait to take another break. That feeling comes on real, like.
I just came back from a week and a half break. I just came back on Monday.
Yeah.
And on Monday after I posted, I'm like, I think I need another break.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So
and it's okay,
what are you spending your time? And this is another thing. I had a conversation with someone earlier in regards to this, right? Like, yes, social media it's an energy exchange. It's very real. Mm-hmm. This is energy.
Yeah.
But what are you choosing to put your energy into? What are you choosing to consume on social media?
Right.
Are you following people that trigger you? Why do they trigger you? Are they triggering you to find your own truth, or are they triggering you with like worldly things? Envy. They're posting. They're curating this beautiful life on social media, but they're sitting in their house crying and miserable because they can't stand themselves. What are you portraying? Because I've sat here on lives before, on stories, and I've cried my ass off. Because you know what? Life is fucking real. I feel it all.
Yeah.
I deal with human emotions, and I deal with other people that are going through shit. And you know what? That's how you transmute. You and I know very
Transmutation
well
is
what transmutation is about. How many times have we had to transmute for other people, Sheba?
What do you mean? We stay, like, aren't you
We
doing it
stay
right
doing
now?
that shit.
You're doing it right now? Like, when does it stop?
We
like,
do this all the time. People do not take the time. For the most part, they don't take the time to transmute. Not understanding that as you're transmuting, you are alchemizing. You are turning pain into something else, into gold. And it's not literal gold. It's experience. It's lessons.
Oof,
There
yes.
are no losses. They're only lessons. And if you take them as losses, then you're losing out on learning.
There are no losses, man. If you know how to put the pieces back together, even when you feel like something's broken, you can get creative with it, make it work for you, and
Do
integrate
things
it
that are
back,
going to work
back
for you, you know?
for you. That's the thing.
I can give you the tools, but I'm not going to build a house for you because then
No.
I'm not teaching you.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the tools
The
and
tools.
I'm giving you a blueprint, right? But
Figure it out.
you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
Nobody put in the work for me. I've been doing this shit for years. It's been years of this.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning.
And we're still raising babies.
And living life and paying bills.
Yeah.
And cooking every day.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
And helping others along the way.
Literally playing, like, you know what I'm saying? Taking turns. Like, okay, now I got to step into, like, my masculine. Okay, now I got to operate with my feminine energy. And it's like, now it's like, oh, okay.
It's that coming together. It's that balancing act. It's saying, okay, I can actually put my armor down. Let me bring in the feminine. Let me bring in the masculine. Let them intertwine and find themselves and be themselves.
Activate that inner twin flame.
Yeah, because your twin flame is not another person.
Yep.
It's not another person. It's not another being. Your twin flame is your divine feminine and your divine masculine energy. And once you find it, and it comes together and it meshes so beautifully, you feel like, oh shit, everybody was just trying to sell me some shit on this twin flame, making me feel like I was not whole, like I was empty because I could never find my twin flame.
Another new age setup. I got duped.
There's so many of them. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
So it's learning to transcend.
All these programs gotta fucking go, bruh. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. It's transcending all these things, right? And getting to the bottom of it and doing your research and sitting with it. And does this shit really resonate with me? Like we were discussing about doing rituals. Does it resonate? Is my soul calling me to do this? Or am I
and then it's like, okay, then why? If the answer is yes, then why? That's the process. That's the ritual, the figuring out of the why you're being called.
Exactly.
That's the ritual. You know, like, I don't know, sis. Like, you know me. Like, we both can talk using big words, trying to sound a certain way and come off. It's so easy to do, bro. Like, I'm not performing for nobody, nothing. Like, we're not even in those times to be performing for what? For who? Again, get right with God. That energy, that source energy, that will activate that inner authority. Then when you speak, whoever may think whatever, and whoever receives whatever, that's not even on you. You do what you're supposed to do. Activate that inner authority through your connection with source. That's accountability. So then, you know, like, that bleeds out into
back to accountability
again,
holding yourself accountable for what you do, what you allow in your space,
for your energy.
Listen, there's people constantly sending out psychic attacks, spirit attacks. Like, we are in a spiritual war.
You're about to make me like bust out in light language right now, because yeah,
We are very much in a very deep spiritual war right now. They want your mind and they want your soul. They want both. This whole
all of
AI
it,
bullshit,
all of
transhuman
it.
bullshit, what the fuck do you think they want? They're taking your soul, your connection to source, to plug you into some fucking machine? Is that what you want? Because I personally, me, no, I like
I'm
being
good.
connected to source. I like being in this human body and experiencing how beautiful life really is. I don't want to be plugged into no machine. Death before dishonor.
And we've said this many a times before, because we've gotten to this point plenty of times before in other
With other
lifetime
topics,
civilizations,
yes.
and it's still the same fucking shit. Death
Mm-hmm.
before dishonor. All right? It's no. No.
We're ninja mode all
Born
the time.
free, bruh. Like, no.
Like, no. You're not gonna fuck around with my DNA. Exactly. Free DNA. Exactly. Precisely. You are not going to touch what is mine. This DNA that's been activated, that is receiving all these codes, that's actually elevating itself and rising to the next step of whatever it's supposed to do here. No one's going to alter that. The day you try to alter my DNA is the day that you and I are going to go to war, because I'm not going out like a sucker.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's so many different kinds of manipulations happening. It's like, which even in turn, like all this frequency shit that,
It's a lot.
oh my God, I like not, I feel it in my back when I start talking about, like, it's like I gotta stretch it out a little, because it gets a little too,
It gets heavy. I know, sis.
And
Yo, there's days that I can't even get out of bed. We've spoken about this before.
yeah, no.
And
I love those days personally. I'm like, what? Really?
And we are kind of like wired the same way. Like, we won't sleep a full night. We'll sleep 2 hours, and that's enough sleep for us, right? And then there'll be days where all we want to do is sleep all day. Why? Because we have to replenish our energy. We don't sleep full nights, and when we do sleep a certain amount of hours, what are we doing in the dream realm?
Yeah. Girl. And you wake up tired and like,
I wonder why. What the fuck were we doing in the dream realm? Yeah. We're out there fighting.
Yeah. It's like, why the fuck do I feel so? Oh, okay. Working overtime.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's just as real as this. Like, I don't differentiate. Like, obviously, yeah, I differentiate, but you know what I mean? It bleeds through. It bleeds into one another. Like,
yeah, because
we are the veil of separation.
We are multi-dimensional beings.
Yeah.
We exist in multiple dimensions all at once. We just haven't mastered the art of actually switching back and forth, because we're not there yet. Yeah. As a collective, we haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah, as a collective.
As the collective. Yeah. Because I know I go in and out. But we are here together, right? We are part of the collective. So that's why these talks are so important to have, because these messages need to be given. They need to come out so other people can tune in. And if it resonates, great, because that means that that message was for you. And it can, I don't know how many people have been on this live so far, but let's say out of 30 people, maybe 3 people resonated with it. Guess what? Those were the 3 people that actually needed to listen to this.
Yeah. And that's just it. Like, it's, I don't know, quality over quantity anyway, to begin
all the time.
So
listen, when I used to smoke weed, right, I was very picky about the cannabis I would consume, because I'm a cannabis connoisseur. Straight up.
Bougie,
I'm not gonna smoke no rags. You ain't gonna bring no brown shit to me. Like, no, it's gotta have terpenes. It's gotta smell nice. It has to be sticky. Like, it needs to have a nice taste. And I would spend, no lie, I spent $100 on a quarter, and people would look at me like, yo, you're spending $100 on a quarter? I'm like, smoke this bud.
Right.
You're gonna need to take only 2 hits from it. Go
ahead.
Literally 2 hits, and they'd be like, yo, there's some fire, but quality over quantity any day. And that comes with everything in my life. I no longer smoke weed, but I am very, very extremely selective of the energy that I choose to share myself with. Yeah. And it's being selective.
Yeah.
And understanding that you are a being of quality. And what type of quality energy would you be able to give people if you're giving it away to everyone else?
So many questions. So many questions. And there's so many answers, though. That's the thing. You just...
And there's not one right answer, because there's many different answers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many answers, like so many different solutions, so many different ways you can go about things. So many paths that lead to, you know what I mean? It's not like there's no destination. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think, like, there's this whole, like, when I get there, when.
You're already there.
You're here.
This is the only thing that matters is here. Like, the past is just memories that get stuck in your head, right? Because yesterday it's not in existence. And also so many perspectives. Yeah, because everyone's perspective is different.
Yeah.
And understanding that everyone's perspective is different is what sets the standard for you having a deeper understanding of other people and not wanting to push your perspectives on them. Yeah. Have you ever tried Bufo Taoud medicine? I have not.
Nope.
So yeah, it's just a matter of directing this energy in the right place with the right people and finding refuge within yourself, but also finding your tribe. Because yeah, it's important to be with self and you need to learn to be alone, but it's also important to find your tribe. Because how do you build? With tribe.
Yeah. And that's the thing, though, like, you know, you have to get to a point where you're responsible and accountable for your own energy and see it as a valuable thing that you feel could be beneficial to adding on, you know what I'm saying, building with X, Y, and Z, whoever your tribe may be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of like trauma bonding that happens, you know, even in the spiritual community, dare I say, especially. But yeah, you know, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, that trauma bonding, right? Because most people, since they're so stuck in their trauma, which is all rooted in their childhood. I specialize in childhood trauma therapy with cognitive behavioral therapy. So that's kind of like my specialty. How do you get to the root of it? When was your first wound as a child? So what happens, you meet someone else that kind of went through like the same situation, not the same, but something similar, right? And immediately you bond with this person. But then the other person starts kind of like going to therapy or having spiritual therapy or, you know, reading about themselves and starts finding the answers that they've been searching for, right, within themselves. And then they realize that they've been bonding with someone that they have absolutely nothing in common with, because the only thing they had in common no longer exists.
Their trauma.
It was only their trauma. And it happens all the time. It's just like some people bond. They only hang out together when they're out partying. Okay, who are you outside of this partying situation? Like, do you have anything in common with this person? I spoke to someone in regards, like regarding this earlier, and there's a big difference between chemistry and compatibility.
Oh, definitely.
Chemistry fizzles out.
That's lust.
That's your body.
Mm-hmm.
That's your body.
Yeah.
But compatibility, when you have things in common with people, you're always going to have things in common with them, even though we do change and we go through different processes of evolution and shit. But like your main core things, if you are compatible, if you have this compatibility with someone, you're not going to lose that. So this whole trauma bonding shit, it's for the birds. It's for the motherfucking birds.
Yeah, I don't know. It's totally. Man, we keep saying it's for the birds. Poor birds, man.
That's why I was asking if you ever tried Bufo toad medicine, because Bufo releases trauma through the subconscious and deep release. Please try it. Good to know. Thanks for passing along the information.
Yeah.
I always like learning about new ways of healing. I am a true believer in plant medicine.
Yep.
I believe it. I respect it. Most people have lost the respect for the medicine, forgetting that it is a medicine, and that you have to respect it. People out here being wild with it. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here judging, because I've done my share of crazy shit, you know? But if you're going to do plant medicine, make sure that you do it with someone that's credible, with someone that's really, truly going to guide you through your journey, because shit can get dark. Yeah. And if you're not mentally, emotionally capable of dealing with the shit that will come up, you will have a hard time and you can lose your shit.
Yeah.
So it's important to reach out to people that do know about it. Mm-hmm. And not trust just anybody off the internet. Like, no.
Yeah, do your research. I strongly, like, for me, well, not strongly, but I honestly, I don't know. Some people, that's the path. They need to go to South America, to wherever, and, you know, that's their path. That's their path. That's what leads their door opening to another door. To, like, that's the path, right?
Right.
For some people, that it's through other experiences, like actual life experiences, that bring that clarity and those aha moments and all that breakthrough and stuff, like through actual, you know, there's many ways, and I don't knock any one of them, like, as long as
there's so many ways that you
accountable
can break
with
through
your energy.
Yeah, but you have to be willing to put yourself through these regimens, right? You have to be able to say, you know what, I need to sit with myself before I go do this, because sorry about that. Most people that end up purging through these experiences is people that actually have not sat down to do the inner work, to sit right with their spirit. Yeah. Not even with source, it's like sitting with your spirit. Have you sat down to talk to your spirit? Because that's my homegirl. Yep. You know? So if people that come back and saying, I had a horrible experience, why did you have a horrible experience? Like, did you take the time to sit with self before you went to have this medicine thinking it was going to solve all your life problems and you were going to have this enlightening, awakening moment, and you shitted yourself for 8 hours? Why do you think that happens? Yeah. So it's this whole systematic thing that's being created now by the new age and the spiritual community, and everybody's a shaman, and everybody knows how to do plant medicine, and yeah, just because you got a little certificate online does not make you a shaman. I'm sorry, not sorry.
I almost let out the most ugliest cackle right there. It took everything. It took
Let it out. I
everything
let
to
mine
hold.
out all the time.
Woo.
It's true.
Okay.
Like a true shaman is not gonna say, "I'm a shaman. Hi." No, a true shaman
Energy speaks for
has
itself.
mastered their craft and it's been passed down generation by generation, and they've sat with the medicine and they know exactly what it does, and they will walk you through. They will be your guide.
Yep.
I come from a long line of healers and curanderas and curanderos. My grandmother, both of my grandmothers were herbalists. My father was a healer. My father was a musician, but he was very much a healer. And my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather were all curanderos. They were all healers. This is something that's been passed down to me through generations. I'm very grateful that I was gifted these things, this knowledge, but I'm very respectful of it. Why? Because Pachamama is always listening. And when you don't behave good, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get your ass handed to you. So this whole idea of everybody's a shaman, no, they're full of shit. They're full of shit.
I mean, because like half of the things that you are, or you claim, like you don't have to claim it. Your energy speaks.
You just are.
Yourself. You just are. Like it's integrated. It's not a label. It's not something you put on like a coat or like a label, a sticker.
Let me put on my
integrated.
That says I'm this today.
Yeah, no. Listen, we've had so many of these discussions, like so many talks, so many, for so long. Like it's like I have so much to say, but at the same time, it's like, well, we've said it all.
Someone said, "Can we be friends? I love y'all. We love you too."
Much love.
Say this one. She sends her love. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's why am I doing this? Why am I being called? Get to your why. There's so much magic in the discovery of the why.
We're gonna clap for you.
So much medicine in the discovery.
That right there. The discovery of your why. Again, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you without your labels, without your name, without your skin color, without your religion, without your upbringing, without your traumas? Who are you? Are you on the road of discovering self? Yeah. And it's a hard thing. It's not easy. Like this shit is, sis, how many times do we text or call ourselves during the week and we're like, yo, this shit is for the fucking birds. Like it gets to be a lot. And we do the work every day. We do this shit every day.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Like,
trust me, we wish we can take a break. We wish we can like take it off and then just take a break from it, right? But we can't.
Sis, my ass will like call it taking a break, but then I'll go like, okay, let me go watch like I don't know. But then it ends up being shit like Westworld or something that makes me even like, you know what I'm saying? Like fuck, like it never stops.
It never stops.
It never stops.
The grind never stops. This type of grind, it never stops. It's a permanent thing. Hold on, I need to get my charger because my phone about to die.
You need to go?
No. I'm just getting my charger.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to end this, we can. But
I can talk to you
we
for hours. We're known to do that, so it doesn't. You know what I mean? And we'll always come back for part 2. I mean, this is just like a regular FaceTime call to me. Like
this is what we discuss on a daily, pretty much every other day. This is our real life. We're just doing it now with y'all.
Yeah, Pretty
with
much.
not with an audience, because I don't want to call them an audience. We're doing this with the people that need to be here and that need to hear these things.
Yeah, no. I haven't even been paying attention to all of that. You're so much better than I am with that. Like, I need to get.
It's okay. More. You know, we just, I know that you're in the zone, so I have to acknowledge when, you know, when they're on here and just, you know.
You gotta pull me out of my zone sometimes, because, you know, Red Cosmic Skywalker.
White Rhythmic Wizard. We already know what time it is. I am here to enchant through rhythm. My voice is my magic. Mm-hmm. Whether I want to admit it or not. And let me tell you, at one point in my life, I really didn't like my voice. I thought it was so annoying.
No, it's not.
I said at one point. I love her now. I'm like,
yeah, of course.
I mean, she sounds kind of
like, how dare you
funny, but it's okay. She's cute. I like her.
I love her.
You know? So it's acknowledging these things. It's saying, okay, what is my purpose for being here? What legacy am I going to leave behind? And understanding that your children are not your legacy. That's a heavy burden to put
one time
on
for the one
another
time. Say that again,
human being. Huh?
I said, say that one more time.
Your children are not your legacy. They are not. Your legacy is what you choose to do with your life and how you decide to move through life.
And your children have a choice whether they want to continue that legacy of yours or not.
That's up to them. Like, you can't put this burden on your children because I built this company. It's your responsibility to keep it going. Did you stop to ask your kid if that's even what he wanted?
Yeah.
Because my kid at one point, my youngest son at one point in his life wanted to be a lake. And I was like, a lake? He's like, yeah, so people can swim in me. I'm like, okay, you want to be a lake? Let's go, be a lake. And he's changed his mind at least 100 times.
Yeah.
But you know what? Every one of his dreams he's pursued. And I never stopped him from it because I don't want him to be what I want him to be. I want him to be what he chose to do in this life. And if it was to do 20 different things, son, do them all.
Yeah,
I do.
Let's try them all.
I have no labels. When people ask me, oh, what do you do for a living? And I tell them I do whatever it takes. They look at me like if I'm a fucking alien. Granted, I am an alien. But it's not withholding them from reaching their potential just because you want to clip their wings. Most parents clip their children's wings by not allowing them to be who they want to be.
Yeah, so they can be more controlled, easily controlled.
Yeah, and you know what? A child that's obedient, that's not a good child. That's a child that's been traumatized and scared because they don't want to get beat up or they don't want to look bad in their parents' eyes, because if they don't listen, then there's repercussions for it.
Yeah.
Like, no, question me.
Yeah.
I want you to question me as of why I should do something.
Yeah.
Or why you should do something.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, this is the spiritual realm just like it is the human realm, right? So are you going to allow their spirits to be free? Are you going to be a sovereign being? And are you going to allow them their own sovereignty?
Are you going to set them demons within free? Or are you like playing with them?
There's a very thin line between these things.
Yeah.
And most
it's so thin that it's almost blurred.
Yeah, and like, most people are like tiptoeing around it, right? Because they don't know where to go. Because there's so many things coming at them. Well, where do I? If I do this is good. If I do this is bad. Well, what's good and what's bad? Your definition of good is not the same as the definition of good for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Again, perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's perspective is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are God experiencing itself as different entities, right? So you're here to experience God is in you, and it's here to experience life as you. What does that entail? A bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
What does that entail for me? A bunch of shit. But you know what? At the end of the day, I go to bed with a clear conscience and with a very light heart, and my soul flies free. Why? Because I do nothing to hurt anyone. On the contrary, I do my best to make sure that people feel love, they feel seen, they feel understood, even if I don't feel that way.
Yeah. That's the whole word. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, man. Whew.
Most people are just floating through, sis. They're not really putting their feet on the ground and being grateful. I'm grateful that I get to wake up every day.
Yeah, gratitude definitely grounds you.
Gratitude is the most grounding thing that you can actually use in your life. The attitude of gratitude, it will go so far. It will take you so far. Because when you surrender, when you listen to your calling, no one's going to hear your call.
No.
It was sent out for your ears only.
Yeah. Yeah. At a pitch
when
that's meant to be audible only by you.
And when you embody these things, when you surrender, when you listen to your calling, when you come from love, from a loving place with loving intention, when you let go of resentment and hate and your trauma and you decide to move forward from it and not continue to carry that baggage with you, you fucking float. And you remember that thing I said earlier about people that have a very light soul, you can't even hear them walking, you can't even hear their steps? That's because they're literally floating. They are levitating on the ground.
My kids, they like, how do you always sneak up on us? And I'm like, they make me wear like my jingly anklets so that I can, so they can hear me. Yeah. I'm like cat mode, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's life is a beautiful experience. With all the ups and with all the downs, with all the heartbreaks, with all the deception, with all the disappointments, it's a beautiful thing to experience because when you start looking at it from the reality of what life is and what we were put on this planet to do and how simple it is, you're like, shit, I've missed out on so many things just because I was stuck in my programming.
Yep. Yeah, no, man. It's such a, like, that's the thing. It's such a beautiful process. It's like, don't try to, like, live through someone else's experience. Don't try to, like, bypass or skip steps, or because you're going to come back right where you thought you skipped a step.
There are no shortcuts.
Loop you right back.
The more shortcuts you take, the longer it's going to take you to get to the quote-unquote destination. And there's really no destination. It's always there. As long as you stay present, that is the present.
Yeah.
Your presence alone is the present.
Yeah.
Just you being.
Yeah.
And taking those breaths.
Yeah.
And being grateful for each one that you're able to take.
I think this is a very good place to end this because this is, we're definitely going to come back for a part 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and perhaps a part 3 or 4. And we might make this,
whatever.
You know, whenever we get called to do it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And again, like whoever this message resonates with, I'm glad it did. I'm glad that you showed up for yourself. I'm glad that you took the time to be present and to acknowledge and to receive this energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's always love. Even when it doesn't seem or feel like it.
That's
It's
the
always
thing.
love.
That's all there is.
Always.
Gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Gratitude for you all.
Yes. Yeah.
Deeply grateful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man, because it's like, listen, that whole tribe thing, the whole being connected with one another and maintaining the connections and like for not surface level connections. I'm done with that shit. Like, you want surface shit? Skip. Like, not me.
Sis, what's the thing I always say? I'm like, I am the ocean in human form. There is no shallow waters here. If you can't swim deep, this ain't the place for you. I'm not one for small talk. I'm not one for staying on the shore. Like, I respect the ocean, but I am the ocean. Yeah. I'm not a drop in the ocean. I'm the entire fucking ocean, just like you are and everyone else. And having that understanding of your divinity, of your power, of acknowledging it, will serve you so well. Yeah. Once you surrender.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Oh, well, you've seen all this bullshit that's floating around on the internet about like submission. Like, that word is being thrown out so much right now. I'm like, are we really in 2022 talking about submission? Like, is that really a thing? Do you want to get into that now, or would you want to do that part 2? I mean, we should do a part 2 on that.
Someone said save this live, and then they also said 5D relationships only. Okay, so let's just
5D and beyond.
Touch on the subject real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just touch on the subject real quick. Submission. What the fuck? Like, you expect for a woman or a man in this specific time and space to be submissive to you? Why? For what? What have you done to allow that person to open themselves and be vulnerable and actually submit to you?
Can you make
because they ask for a lot of things, but what are you giving? This whole pattern of behavior of women need to submit because they're inferior. This is all bullshit. I'm sorry, but last I checked, we are the portals between the spirit realm and the material world. And I've never been one to submit. Never.
Well, and you see, that's
because there's never been anyone that has stepped up in that masculine energy to make me feel safe enough that I can submit. And not submit like be submissive, like submit in a way that we're going to balance each other out. That you're going to protect me as much as I can protect you. That you're willing to give me as much as I'm willing to give you. That the reciprocation is going to be an even exchange.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, sis, like submission, like I'm submitting to my role as the divine feminine. I'm submitting myself to truth. I'm like, and if that aligns with, because you got to be submitting to a higher power.
Exactly. We've been submitting to a higher power.
Like,
not to
when
another
you submit
person.
to something greater than you, then you naturally follow your divine role. Then there's no need to say, oh, you need to submit to this and I need to submit. Like, those things don't even become a topic of discussion.
They're not even
because you're doing what you're coded to do. Like,
because they're so into knowing that the only entity you need to submit to is source. That's not even a topic of discussion.
Not at all.
But this whole dilemma with everything that's going on, right? With all these patterns of these negative patterns of behavior, because if we really think of it, when we use the word toxic, that word has so many different things that are attached to it, right? And at one point or another, we've all been toxic. We all have some sort of toxic tendencies, because that's being real.
And toxic is also a perspective, to be quite honest. Like, weed can be toxic to that person. To me, it's medicine. Like, toxic, again, perspective.
Again, exactly, perspective. Yeah. So it's these behaviors, right? These patterns of behaviors, this programming and conditioning that's been going on, that goes way back. This machista thing, because in my culture, in the Latin culture, the man needs to submit to the woman needs to submit to the man, because he's
same
the
thing
man.
with Ethiopian culture. Yeah.
It's like
what now?
Like, what makes that the normal thing? Because if we go back, right, into like ancient times, we're gonna go way back into ancient times. Women were worshipped, and we're not even asking to be worshipped. We're just asking to be respected.
Provide the space.
Provide the space for us to be.
Provide the space, hold the frequency. I'll submit to my role easily. And my role as a divine feminine, my role submitting to God, to a higher power, is not submitting to the person, right, to the other person. It's submitting to your role. It's
submitting to the energy.
Like your role as a human being, as an individual, like your role, like, do you honor your codes?
That's the thing. Most people don't have a code of honor, right? Like, they don't have these things like integrity.
I kind of forget about that. It's like common sense. I feel like everyone has it. Then I'm like, oh yeah, shit. It's a spiritual attribute. I forgot.
Like honesty, loyalty. There's so many
empathy.
Things, these virtues, right? Like these 9 specific virtues. Do people even know what they are? Can you honor yourself? If you can honor yourself, you can definitely honor others. And it doesn't mean like submit to them. Honor and submission has nothing to do with each other, but people confuse the two.
Yeah.
Are you able to honor
like,
your spirit?
If something tells me that, like, for example, if I'm not meant to be, me and you are no longer meant to be on the same path, right? I honor that truth. I honor myself. I honor you enough
to be grateful for the time spent. And people change, life goes on. But I honor the time that we did spend together, because X, Y, and Z. Because I honor myself, and by honoring myself, I'm able to honor you. If I'm loyal to myself, I can be loyal to other people.
Yeah, and I mean, I need depth. Like, it's like, I need depth. No, seriously, I need depth. I need depth. Like, that's in all relations. There's got to be a deeper, and everything that I do, there's got to be a deeper meaning. There's got to be a deeper reason than, oh, I just feel like it. But why? Why do you feel like it? Where do you feel it in your body?
Where's it coming from?
Where is it coming from? Yeah. Who sent that thought? Is it, and you know what I mean? Like, who sent, like, what? Yeah, man. Nah, like, we're gonna go deeper into that. I just feel like lately it's just all this talk about like submission and all these just gender. I'm so over it, Hermana. Like,
Sis, there's this thing, right? And I used to have this conversation with Nedic all the time.
God rest his soul.
And as you know, he's physically not here any longer, but he is eternal and he is everywhere. And I see him everywhere, and I'm like, you always said you were gonna be everywhere. I peeped. He used to always, like, our conversations would always go deep into, like, we'd have deep conversations about so many things. But his number one thing that he was always trying to protect was the divine feminine. And he would always say, the divine feminine is under attack.
Yeah.
And it's been under attack for so long. How much longer is this thing going to continue for? When are people going to wake up to the reality of the divinity?
Yeah. And divine femininity, it's not a look. It's not, it's an energy.
It's an energy.
Felt. It's a frequency.
It's a vibration.
It's a vibration.
It's sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't honor that, you and I have nothing to discuss.
And that's why, again, the whole idea, right? Like, people like the idea of us. They romanticize on who they think we are, right?
Yep.
And then we sit down to have conversations, and they're hit with the reality, which has been our reality this entire time.
The whole entire time.
The entire time. We've kept it 100, because I keep it 100 all the time.
Right.
With everyone.
Right.
And they're like, oh shit, I really have to, like, I can't bullshit this person. I gotta step up my game.
I gotta think twice.
I gotta think 3 times about this, because this is really real. So the idea of someone the idea that you create on someone doesn't necessarily equate that that's the reality of who they are.
Yeah.
So are you looking for someone to submit to you, or are you looking for someone to be your equal, so you can
to acknowledge you, to see you, to feel you,
to really
love you, to
really
breathe you,
really
to honor
feel
you, cherish you, all that good shit. And it doesn't come with putting your foot on someone's neck or saying submit to me. Like, what? Like, we're in 2022. We got so many, like, so much more, like.
But again, like, we can't really put the blame on men, because they've been going through it too. Like, they're not allowed to be emotional just because they're men. I have this conversation with my son all the time. I'm like, cry. Yeah. If you're feeling emotional, cry. Process your feelings. Process your emotions. Yeah. It doesn't make you less of a man. On the contrary. Yeah. I taught a meditation class at his school. I think I told you. Yeah. 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I told, he's in dance. He's the only boy in his dance class. He's the only guy in his dance class, and I love that for him, because just because he's the only guy doesn't mean he could have said, you know what, nah, I don't want to be the only guy. Yeah. Kevin loves to dance, and he's gonna dance no matter where he's at. Yeah. Whether there's 100 men or there's no men. Yeah. And I told his entire class, I'm like, Kevin cries. He cries. He goes through it. He's a human being. Yeah. And he's allowed to process and have these emotions. Yeah. And the thing is also that some women don't allow men the space to process their feelings and their emotions, and ask them how their mental is. And are they feeling anything? The highest rate of suicides comes from men. Men, yeah. So just like the divine feminine has been under attack, the divine masculine
divine masculine as well
has been oppressed. They haven't allowed them to actually be in their divinity. Yep. Yeah. Because of the conditioning and the programming of society. Yeah.
And when you really open your eyes, you notice it. The war isn't against, like, the divine feminine and masculine here. Divine feminine and masculine are on the same page. It's the Jezebel dark feminine, not even dark feminine, but that energy, that feminine against like the narcissistic masculine, that, or
it's these tendencies,
that succubus whatever energy, that's what we're talking about. Like,
right.
When you're tapped into the divinity within, you're on one accord. You understand? Like, it's not a competition. It's not who's smarter and who's better and who can, what? Like, I don't know. For me, it's just remedial and like, I don't know. Like, what are we in kindergarten? Like, I'm a grown ass woman. Like, you want me to talk about this in 2022 when there's so much happening around us, within us, through these like.
And there's all these gateways, right? Because there's a ton of gateways that are constantly surrounding us. So are we going to choose to go down the gateway that's bringing peace, tranquility, positivity, love, understanding, moving to a different stage of your vibration, of the vibration of the entire earth, moving to the next stage and the step of consciousness? Or are we going to stay trapped in these lower frequencies of fear, of anger, of resentment, of toxicity,
hypersexuality,
so many things?
There's so many.
We can talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna come back. We're gonna definitely come back to that, because I'm like, oh shit, like another whole hour. But yeah, no, we're definitely gonna come back and talk more. And like I said, it's so necessary, and I encourage not just people to join our lives or whatever, but like to have lives of their own. Like, go on live, have these discussions with other people, like that. You know what I mean? Like,
these conversations are necessary, and I think this is the reason why we decided to do this live, is because these conversations need to happen.
Yeah.
And they need to happen out in the open. And it's like you said, it doesn't just have to be us. Like, people can decide to have these conversations on their own. Yeah. Like, find your tribe, share your ideas.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be online either.
No. Yeah. Like, you're gonna find your people, and your people are gonna find you. You just have to be open
and authentic receptive in your signature, so that you are able. It's like your bat signal. Like, it's your personal bat signal.
Exactly.
Yeah. Always a pleasure.
Woo! Well, can we end this with a quick prayer?
Sure. I'll top it off with
All right.
Go ahead.
I cleanse my body. I cleanse my soul. I cleanse my energy of all that's dull. May new and bright energy enter my soul. Anything that does not come from love cannot see me, cannot hear me, cannot feel me, and will not sense me. So it is.
And so it motherfucking is. Oof.
May we all remember what has been kept away for so long. May we honor each other. May we be the light that reflects the light and divinity in others. And may we remember that we are all we got. That we are in this together, and together we rise. And you know what? Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind. So you already know.
My daughter says that.
You already know I have soul and deep gratitude and love for you. And I am always here. And I'm always going to be here. And for those of you that perhaps you don't have people that you can talk to about things like this,
we're here.
Reach out.
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
You're never alone. You might be
Never.
alone, but you're never alone, because there's a team of spirit guides and ancestors that are always taking care of you in this realm and the next one. And they will always protect you. Acknowledge them and honor
So
them.
much, so much, so much, so much, so much gratitude, so much love, so much just, I mean, you know, at this point I'd be doing it for the gram. Like, you already know, okay? Like, you already know. And you know, we got this. I got you, you got me, God got us. We good.
Above all, God got
Above
us.
all. Amen. I share a whole, like, and so it is.
So it is.
Deep bows of gratitude, hermana. Te
Same.
amo. I love
Peace
you.
and love and blessings
Peace.
to all.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you so
joining.
much for writing it out with us. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of you. Deeply felt. So much gratitude. And thank you for being present.
Yes. Ashe. Blessed. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.